Kasigilok and Dagula Heights. Welcome to the Brain Rot Crew, where we are going to talk about the rise of the internet in the 1990s. Here we have Bia, Zach, and Katherine.
Katherine will be telling us about the beginning of the rise of the internet, and here she is.
In 1965, Lawrence Roberts made two separate computers in different places to talk to each other for the first time. This experimental link used a telephone line with a Soundwise coupled modem and transferred digital data using packets.
Technology proceeded in the 1970s with the work of two scientists, Robert Kahn and Vinton Cerf, who developed a communications model regulating how data was transmitted in a lot of networks. ARPANET adopted this on January 1, 1983, and the modern internet was born.
Not one person invented the internet. When networking technology first appeared, a number of scientists and engineers brought their research together to create the ARPANET. Later, other inventors' creations discovered more of the way for the web as we know it today.
When the first packet switching network was developed, Leonard Kleinrock was the first person to use it to send a message. He used a computer at UCLA to send a message to a computer at Stanford. Kleinrock tried to type login, but the system crashed after the letters L and O had appeared on the Stanford monitor.
A second attempt was successful, and more messages were exchanged between the two sites. This is the time that ARPANET was born. Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist, invented the World Wide Web in 1989 while working at CERN. The web was originally created and developed to meet the demand for automated information sharing between scientists in universities and associates around the world. On April 30, 1993, CERN put the World Wide Web software in the public domain. Later, CERN made a release available with an option license, a more sure way to maximize its gathering. These actions allowed the web to flourish.
People used to communicate with each other by phone, writing letters, and face-to-face conversations. This timeline follows nearly 200 years of innovations in communication that have helped people all over the earth to connect with one another. Katherine, how did the internet change communication and relationships?
The internet has made communication faster and more efficient. Email, instant messaging, and social media platforms have all but replaced traditional letter writing. Telephone calls and face-to-face conversations as the primary means of communication.
The first email was sent in 1971 by Ray Tomlinson, a young engineer at the firm of Bolt, Beranek and Newman. His message sending protocol made it possible for one person to write to a specific other person on a different computer within that network. Some features of his original message system are still in use today. Tomlinson is credited with developing the use of the @ symbol, which in his early system literally showed the location of the sender. Also familiar to today's email users. Fields for the sender, subject, date, and body of the email.
First and foremost, the internet has made communication faster and more efficient. Email, instant messaging, and social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter have all but replaced traditional letter writing, telephone calls, and face-to-face conversations as the primary means of communication. Catherine, how did online shopping affect businesses and the economy?
Small businesses can now sell to customers worldwide, breaking through geographical limits and growing their reach. This global accessibility means that a local craftsman can market their products globally, which supports entrepreneurship and drives economic growth.
Boston Computer Exchange became one of the first e-commerce platforms in 1982. Charles M. Stack launched Bookstacks Unlimited in 1992, one of the first online marketplaces. In 1994, Netscape released Netscape Navigator, which became the most prominent of the early web browsers.
For starters, a video made by Shopify, an e-commerce software company, tells the story of a deal struck between students in Stanford University and MIT sometimes between 1971 and 1972 to buy some weed via ARPANET, the precursor to the internet we know today. Online shopping has made it easier for consumers to compare prices, products, and features from the comfort of their homes or on the go with the mobile devices.
People used to find information by reading a book, newspaper, early television, magazines, paper articles, radio broadcasts. In 1991, the World Wide Web was developed by Tim Berners-Lee as a way for people to share information. The linked text and format available through his web made the internet much easier to use because all documents could be seen easily on screen without downloading. The first browser software was introduced by Mark Andreessen in 1993. It enabled more fluid use of images and graphics online and opened up a new world for internet users.
The American Archive of Public Broadcasting offers access to streaming audio and video collections of public television and radio stations from across the country. Dates of coverage run from the 1940s to present, and the archive is searchable by date, keyword, topic, geographic location, and more. Bia, how did the Internet's access to information influence education and knowledge?
The Internet's unique accesses to knowledge is among its many significant educational contributions. The day when students were restricted to wisdom in their classrooms or libraries has long since passed. The Internet makes a multitude of information available, Students can now explore their interests and learn more about a wide range of subjects outside.
People looked things up in the books. Research for school or work was done using physical books. Encyclopedias were a valuable source, and libraries were essential for accessing information. Instead of Googling for resources or using online learning platforms, people would learn from others or books.
The internet has regularized access to information, breaking down barriers that restricted knowledge to specific geographical locations. Research papers, academic journals, and vast knowledge libraries are now available to anyone with an internet connection. Learning new skills has become more accessible and diverse.
I want you all to consider how education has evolved with online resources, digital learning tools, and fact-checking concerns. Internet-connected computers started to become widely accessible in schools, libraries, and homes across the globe. A new generation began using websites more than books and search engines more than web directions. Yahoo, Atla Vista, and Lycos dominated, with significant investment propping up the loss-making sites.
Originally named Backrub for its link-based ranking procedure, Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin at Stanford University. The company had big ambitions from the outset. Page and Brin got a seed investment of $100,000 by Sun Microsystems co-founder Andy Bechtolsheim before the company was even incorporated. The seed funding round raised a total of $1 million, the majority of which came from three key investors. One of those investors was Jeff Bezos, the founder of an up-and-coming online bookstore called Amazon.
The episode's major points are the who, what, where, and why questions about the rise of the internet. What positive and negative impacts of the internet hit you? I encourage you all to explore the origins of your favorite online platforms or apps to better understand how digital culture has evolved.
Glad for listening to my fellow classmates. Please like and subscribe to Jack Edward Juglok Badkey's channel for more podcasts about history.